Hey, what's up everybody? This is ePhoenixN, and this is some Modern Warfare 3, obviously, and I am playing on Mission Domination with the PP90. The PP90 is actually one of my favorite guns in the game. It's kind of my go-to gun if I'm not playing well, if it's on a small map, if I'm getting frustrated, if I'm going to try hard. It tends to kick some ass, to be honest. It's definitely a gun worth sinking some time into. Getting silencer extended mags is a very powerful combination, or extended mags rapid fire is just pretty much ridiculous. And it's definitely worth taking a look into if you haven't played with it much. I'd be surprised if you haven't, because I know a lot of people I've seen are running around with it. So. But the only other SMG, there's only two other SMGs that put it in the same category as far as good as this gun. And that would be the MP7, which is pretty much the same but with no kick. It's pretty ridiculous, it's a great gun. It also has a very large magazine, which is pretty awesome. And then there's also the P90. The P90 I find a little bit unwieldy because it has a lot of kick. But if you can master the kick, or if you run kick proficiency and whatever else, it can be very, very good. Using a silencer on it can be a bit rough because it has such short range, and it's very, very difficult at long range to kill anything with that gun. But those are the three SMGs that, and for my money, are kind of the ones to use. I know a lot of people like to run around with the UMP. I'm not a big fan of that gun. I don't seem to do as well with it for whatever reason. It doesn't have the same feel as the PP90 or the MP7. It doesn't have a sheer just rate of fire craziness of the P90, which the P90 on small maps might be the best out of any of them. But if you're getting on a medium-sized map, I'd definitely go with the MP7 or the PP90. But anyway, that's not really what I wanted to talk about. I wasn't really talking about the guns. What I did want to talk about is kind of my view of the shooters that have come out this fall. After I've played each of them a significant amount of time, and by the shooters I mean, Modern Warfare 3, Battlefield 3, and Gears of War 3. Playing each one a fair amount, it's really interesting because, the best made of the games might be my least favorite. In a lot of ways, I think Battlefield 3 takes the cake in a lot of what it does. It did a lot of things right. Everyone talks about the graphics, but really the graphics are average on console, but on PC they're unbelievable. And the problem with Battlefield 3 is it was kind of made for PC and then converted over the console, and so it doesn't quite run as smoothly. There's more issues with it on console, getting into servers and things like that. And I gotta say, as far as the consoles or the shooters, if I'm ranking them, 1, 2, and 3, Battlefield 3 is a number 3 for me. It's my least like of the shooters that have come out this fall. It's and it's a good game, and I don't want to sound it like that, but I can pretty much tell you, once Battlefield 3, or once Skyrim came out and then Modern Warfare 3 came out, I have literally not touched Battlefield 3. I haven't played it, haven't put it in the thing, I haven't even moved the case I have it in. My friends, most of my friends, as far as console gamers, because I don't really play with PC gamers pretty much hardly ever, if ever, but all the console gamers stop playing it, and because at the end of the day, it's just not as fun as Gears 3 or as Modern Warfare 3. Like it, dislike it, or whatever. I mean, it's just kind of the way it is. Especially for me personally, for my money, to be really successful in that game, it seems to me, you have to be at least a little bit, if not significantly, a vehicle whore. Whether it be, a jet, whether it be a tank, or whatever else. You have to whore out the vehicles and things like that. And for me, that's boring gameplay. I know a lot of people love that gameplay. A lot of people have a lot of fun in it. For me, it's probably the least fun part of those games. And so, playing that game is like playing at a constant disadvantage because I'm running around as an infantry guy. And even being an engineer class, which you're almost forced to be, you still don't have quite the arsenal to easily deal with some of the more difficult, the more difficult tanks, the tanks and the guns, the more difficult aircraft and the guns in the game and things like that. Plus the fact that you have a max of 4-person squad, even though there's 12 people on your team, or 11 people other than you on your team, seems a bit ridiculous because you can't have full control of what's going on. You're kind of limited. So, that's that, I guess. To be honest, probably the number 2 for me is Modern Warfare 3, which obviously is Gears of War 3 is number 1. Modern Warfare 3, I think, is probably the most fun as far as multiplayer, but it's also the most frustrating. Modern Warfare 3 is the type of game where I want to pull my hair out, throw my controller through my TV, and just scream and unendingly enrage, because the lag is bad, the spawn system is atrocious, some of the guns are like the Type 95 and are overpowered, and whoever put the akimbo, decided to put akimbos in Modern Warfare 3 should be assaulted, raped, and beaten to death after they've been castrated. And so it is probably the most frustrating of all 3 of the games. But at the same time, I think just the fun factor, the fact that, it's really fun to hop on and jump into a game and just play with friends, without friends. It has more of a fun factor for me. And that with Spec Ops and actually having more game mode types and maps, it beats out Battlefield 3. And obviously, Gears of War 3. And the reason why I put Gears of War 3 as number 1 for me is simply because there's more to it. I think the dedicated servers in Battlefield 3 is nice. The fun factor is great in Modern Warfare 3, but just the deep nature of Gears 3 is fantastic. When I mean deep, I mean you have regular game modes of like Team Deathmatch and Execution and all of those, Team Guardian or whatever. But then at the same time, you also have Horde mode, and you have Beast mode, and you have co-op with the campaign, and then there's a co-op DLC for the that DLC, and so there's a lot to that game that's very successfully done. And I think out of 3, Gears 3's campaign's the best, and mixed with a campaign that's good, a multiplayer that's fun and very, very deep, and there's a lot to it. I think there's just it's got to take the cake for me as far as shooters. And each of them has their own good thing. I think dedicated servers for Battlefield 3, and if you're playing on PC, it has the best graphics of the 3. If you're playing on console, Gears 3 is the best graphics, and I think Gears 3 is the deepest, and Modern Warfare 3 is the most rage-inducing, but it's also the most fun. And Spec Ops is a good thing. And I think Modern Warfare 3 is really Modern Warfare 2.5 type of thing. But it does a good job at what it does, and it does a lot of things right, with support packages. And although it does a lot of things, I think, erroneously, I think it does a good job of balancing out that with just a straight fun factor, which I think Battlefield 3 is missing, and Gears 3 has, but just not to the same extent. Anyway, guys, that's just kind of my thought process on the shooters after playing each of the games, a multitude of hours, and getting a deeper feel for all the games. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching. I'll be putting up more content soon. I'm actually hoping to do maybe a dual commentary awards program, like a Gamers View Awards ceremony. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Peace out.